Hey, Kody!
How are you?
Would all focus on their own relationship.
Did you have any other sexual experiences before?
Kody is really going all in on trying to make Robyn seem like some kind of coveted gem. Remember when he made that big fuss about her going to church alone with the kids, as if she'd be snatched up by a swarm of suitors the second his back was turned? At the time, I thought he was just an insecure mess, desperately trying to convince everyone, especially himself, that Robyn was some rare, highly sought-after prize. But now, I'm leaning more toward the idea that Kody's overcompensating because he's realizing his trophy wife is actually a deeply emotionally immature shopaholic with zero marketable skills, no ambition to work, and a $60,000 plus doll collection. So much for the fantasy. It's hilarious, honestly, because Robyn is about as frumpy and matronly as they come. Seriously, I can't imagine many men are sitting around daydreaming about women like her. Kody's probably thrilled that we all know about Robyn's spending spree on doll clothes, especially when you consider the fact that he hasn't exactly been pulling his weight financially, like hasn't paid child support, claims he can't afford to pay off Coyote Pass, and yet somehow managed to put down $400,000 on his new compound. And let's not forget that he kept all the money from the McMansion sale, even though Mary and Janelle handed over the profits from their Vegas homes to help with the down payment. The reason he's not selling Coyote Pass? Oh, I'm betting it's serving as collateral for his shiny new property. And let's talk about that minor detail of him not contributing a dime toward his own daughter's surgery. If Christine hadn't stepped up to raise the money, it wouldn't have happened. But no worries, his wife has $62,000 worth of doll accessories. Totally adds up, right? The kicker is, Kody and Robyn are totally oblivious to the idea that they've done anything wrong here. Robyn will pull out the classic budgeting priorities excuse, claiming it's not her fault the other wives chose to spend their money on, I don't know, reasonable things. Meanwhile, Kody will continue to play the knight in shining armor, defending his damsel in distress. At this point, it's just some costs for him. But oh, I'm sure Kody's super embarrassed that this story makes it look like he has no control over the household finances. But he'll spin it into some weird flex, like Robyn is just so irresistible that I have to spoil her, because, you know, every man wants her. Do you think Kody even knows how much Robyn's racked up? I just don't picture him as the type to dig through the accounts. I mean, Robyn's the kind of person who probably just maxes out credit cards and plays it off like nothing happened. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. The irony of seeing Robyn actually cry for the first time. What a moment. I'm just starting season 8, and I gotta say, it was like watching a whole new person when she got emotional about Dayton's eyelid surgery. Her eyes got all glossy, and I swear, it was a complete 180 from the usual emotionless mask she wears. Like, wow, you'd think she was actually feeling something for once. But it's so obvious, right? I can't help but wonder if the other wives ever point this stuff out when they're not around Kody. Can you imagine them calling her out after they all leave him? Because that would be a sight. And speaking of Dayton, I feel horrible for what happened to him. But honestly, the Browns are a bunch of nitwits. Dayton has autism and wasn't raised to be some ATV riding daredevil. But Kody, in all his infinite wisdom, thought it'd be a great idea to toss Dayton onto an ATV. Surprise, surprise, he crashes straight into a barbed wire fence. Poor Hunter had to come to the rescue. And what does Kody do next? Oh, just buys the kid dirt bikes. You know, because that makes perfect sense. Not to mention Kody's brother had died in a motorcycle accident just a few years earlier. Talk about a complete lack of self-awareness. And let's not even get started on Janelle. Fully aware of Dayton's accident, and what does she do? Goes ATVing for the first time without a helmet. I can't even. It's like watching a group of people who've collectively checked out of common sense. They might be one step away from trying to ride without seatbelts. Ridiculously stupid. When Kody said, without a hint of irony, that Janelle was using him as a piece of meat and a pool boy, but not as a human being, honestly, I died. The sheer lack of self-awareness is mind-blowing. This guy genuinely thinks he's some top-tier catch when he's, at best, a mediocre dude. It's no wonder he tried to start his own cult. I mean, he's basically the world's least successful cult leader. Talk about aiming low. It's funny though, while the other wives were all wifey types, I'd always got the sense that Kody saw Janelle as more of an equal. She was more about the practical side of things, working, taking care of the kids, while the other seemed more focused on traditional wife duties. Knowing Kody, he probably secretly liked being used in that way. And then there's Janelle, who flat out admits that Kody was her friend with benefits. She had a disastrous first marriage to Mary's brother, and if Adam's as much of a neat freak as Mary, I can see why it didn't last. Janelle was never about being Susie Homemaker, and as her marriage to Adam was falling apart, along comes Kody, handsome, charming Kody. Honestly, she'd rather have him part-time than put up with Adam full-time. Janelle was realistic. She knew she was getting a practical, part-time marriage with a guy she could have kids with. There wasn't a romantic fairy tale there. It was all about the arrangement. She could let herself go, and Kody would turn a blind eye because, well, she was working her tail off, and he was just Kody. She valued him for what he was, a limited partner, and she played the game on her terms. Do you think Janelle's idea for fundamental fitness, the family-focused gym, would have been more successful than my sister wife's closet? Oh, definitely. For one, gym memberships bring in consistent monthly revenue. Not that I'm saying it would have been the next big thing, but honestly, anything's better than overpriced, ugly elementary school doodles slapped on products. There was no real business plan for MSWC, just relying on the OG wives to do all the work, and then Dopey signs off, basically sinking a large chunk of family money into that mess. Total waste. Yeah, and imagine if they'd offered a one-on-one experience with the OG3, basically a personal trainer session with them. They could have thrown in their NLM junk for extra income too. T-shirts, water bottles, towels, you name it, all making money. If they'd actually talked to people who knew how to open and run a gym, created a business plan, and put in some effort, probably. My sister wife's closet was never more than a hobby business, and it was never going to be profitable. But the Browns love jumping into things without thinking them through, and we see how that turns out. Is it normal to have no clue what your spouse does? Okay, I have to ask because I've been so confused about this for a while. Kody and Robyn love to mention how Kody is just swamped with work, and Janelle and Christine have casually dropped the info that he doesn't roll in until 5 or 6 p.m., even on weekends. But here's the thing. None of the wives or kids seem to have a clue about what Kody's actually doing all day. So, is that normal in a marriage? I mean, it's pretty obvious that this work time is mostly spent with Robyn, yet everyone just goes along with it when he says he's at work. Don't couples usually ask each other how their day went, what's going on at the office, whether they had a tough day, or, I don't know, anything that resembles actual conversation about each other's lives? For over 10 years, no one has pressed him to explain what he actually does during the day or why he can't, work from home or show up on weekends like everyone else. And when it comes to Robyn, she never really says what Kody's busy with either. Which, of course, we all know what that means. But still, come on, lady, can you at least pretend? Like, say he's meeting clients, reviewing vendor supplies, on a call with his partners, something? So here's my burning question for married folks out there. Is this level of work-life privacy or independence actually normal? Or is it just a very convenient way to avoid answering any uncomfortable questions? So here I am at Disneyland this morning, casually chatting with my husband on the tram about how you amazing detectives have unearthed Robyn's latest obsessions. You know, art, dolls, and custom clothes. I was spilling all the latest tea when the person in front of us suddenly turns around and says, "Oh, I hate Robyn too." Naturally, we laughed, and I went ahead and gave them the full rundown on Robyn's Etsy spree, her at Kody buying a $2 million house and selling off the old McMansion. I even told them to keep their eyes peeled for the OG3 at Disneyland since, apparently, they're big fans of the parks. It was honestly a blast running into fellow sister wives, fans out in the wild. The thing is, nobody I know personally watches Sister Wives, or really any of the TLC trash I'm obsessed with. That's where Reddit comes in. There's a whole army of people there just as unhinged as me, eager to talk about this stuff. But hey, I'm still hoping to bump into more fans out in the real world. Oh, and just to keep the theme going, I spotted Christine and David in Daytona FL on Thursday. So I'm guessing they won't be at Disneyland this weekend. Maybe Disney World's their next stop. Also, quick sidebar, I'm in Sedona this weekend and had lunch at Mariposa. And let me tell you, my soul left my body when my husband asked for the Kody Brown table. Molly, our server, just lost it and laughed out loud. Classic. Watching the panel with the Browns and the ex-polygamy victims is a complete train wreck, and it's so uncomfortable. Christine and Janelle? Not perfect, but honestly, they're just a bit naive. Robyn and Kody, though. They're on a whole other level of ridiculously aggressive. The worst part? They can't even wrap their heads around the fact that these people are abuse victims, sharing their traumatic stories. Instead, they take it personally. And Robyn, oh my god, calling one of the panelists sweetie? That's beyond condescending. The poor person was just trying to ask a simple question. Why on earth do these ex-abuse victims need to validate Robyn and Kody's actions? Like, are they really that fragile? Then, in the season-end interview, Robyn has the audacity to say the panelists weren't there to find answers or to understand. Excuse me, you're the one who didn't want to understand them in the first place. And don't even get me started on her trying to downplay the whole situation with, we aren't saying these girls didn't have a hard time. Thankfully, Kody actually corrected her and said abuse. At least he got that part right. Christine and Janelle are still clinging to their defensive, naive responses in the end-of-season interview, and while I get it, kind of, it's still disappointing. It's just gross at this point. Robyn calling someone sweetie during that panel wasn't just rude, it was downright rotten. Honestly, it's eye-opening when you're an outside observer watching people react defensively to their own abusive behavior being called out. It's like a masterclass in who Kody and Robyn truly are deep down. Yikes. Was Nancy a bad therapist? That's the big question lingering in my mind while watching the tell-all after season 12. Or maybe, just maybe, Kody is the kind of person who should never, under any circumstances, set foot in a therapy session. Honestly, watching Kody use the therapy tools he learned as a means to manipulate everyone around him was like watching a car crash in slow motion. We've all met that person, right? The one who pretends to have their life together, all while using their self-awareness to spin everything to their advantage. And can we talk about how therapy trends from 2010 have completely ruined confrontation for Gen X and millennials? Everyone now acts like they need a therapist in the room every time they have a tough conversation. The family was throwing around terms like unsafe, when what they really meant was uncomfortable. Please, someone teach people that therapy language doesn't work in real life. You can't go around acting like you're writing a business email every time you need to talk to your family. It's exhausting just watching it happen. As a therapist, I honestly question anyone who films therapy sessions for a reality TV show. Some families are complicated enough without the added chaos of cameras rolling. The pressure alone must be enough to drive anyone crazy. Kody himself even admitted he hated therapy, yet kept going because he thought Nancy was honest with him. And you know what? She was honest, but Kody didn't like it. So sure, she did her job. But if someone refuses to listen, what's the point? Then there's the moment when Nancy let Kody completely avoid any real criticism. He straight up said he wasn't open to it, and instead of calling him out, she just let it slide and shifted focus to Mary. At that point, the only thing Nancy should have said was, "Kody, why are you even here if you're not going to participate?" When Robyn says, "I speak, Kody," what she's really doing is putting up the world's most transparent smokescreen for her constant manipulation. See, Kody isn't just mumbling random thoughts. He's trying to parrot back something she's already told him, probably because he couldn't get it right the first dozen times. So when he's attempting to lay down one of his brilliant insights or new family rules that she probably came up with, he's struggling to communicate it properly. Enter Robyn, swooping in to save the day with her patented line. What you're hearing is exactly what he's saying, but what he means is. It's almost like she's saying, "No, Kody, that's not what I wanted you to say. Let me do the talking for you." She's the puppet master, and he's just the guy holding the strings, reading her script. Now, imagine being in a marriage for nearly 20 years, only to have this woman, who's known him for all of 5 minutes, act like the only one who actually understands him, and the audacity to position herself as his personal translator. It's like watching a play where she's the star, and he's just the poor understudy who can't get his lines right. When Robyn jumps in, she's never asking Kody to clarify what he meant. Nope, she's straight up telling him how he feels and what to say next. It's so slick, and yet so cringeworthy, especially since it happens so often you can practically set your watch by it. There's this bizarre pattern of her stepping in, as if she's not just translating him, but controlling the entire narrative. And let's not forget her MO, triangulating every single relationship around Kody. She's the center of it all, always. Playing to his ego, feeding him lines about how he has been wronged, how he's the head of the family, and how she's the only one who honors him. Poor Kody, apparently she's the only one who's got his back in this messed up family dynamic. But really, she's the one pulling all the strings, casting herself as the victim in need of a knight in shining armor. Classic move for a covert narcissist who's only made Kody worse. I'm deep into my rewatch, and I gotta say, that Zoom call with Kody, Robyn, and the OG3 made me physically sick. The way Kody casually says, Isabel can go back to school if she wants, and then in the same breath tells Brianna she specifically needs to stay home. What an absolute gem of a human being. And Robyn, the woman just sits there, rolling her eyes like it's no big deal. I swear, I wanted to jump through the screen and give both of them a reality check. Christine, Janelle, and Mary are better women than me because I would have lost it right then and there. And don't even get me started on that Isabel is more sociable excuse. Like, excuse me, Kody. All the kids should feel equally important, not like they're being tossed aside. If anything, if Brianna is struggling with socializing, wouldn't you want to encourage her to go back, especially since it's a year into coronavirus and everyone's trying to get back to some sense of normalcy? But no, instead, we get this load of nonsense. The way Robyn constantly switches things around, making it seem like Christine is the one in the wrong, is absolutely wild. It's like living in a gaslighting nightmare. Robyn didn't want monogamy. What she wanted was to be the queen bee, the head wife, ordering everyone around and bossing the other wives and kids. But once Christine had enough and dipped, Robyn realized she may have pushed her luck just a little too far, and suddenly, it's all about tears and regret and begging Mary and Janelle to stay. Oh, and Janelle's death stares. Priceless. Honestly, I'm here for it. Honestly, Looking back and seeing Robyn's manipulations over the years is like studying a textbook on human psychology. What I wouldn't give to see some of that unedited footage, just to get the full, unfiltered version of that madness. Robyn doesn't actually want sister wives, she wants cash. It's pretty clear, though I admit I was confused at first. She says she wants sister wives, but her actions tell a completely different story. I mean, remember when she sobbed about her dream of owning land, clinging to it like her life depended on it? Or how she stormed off when Mary and Kody were breaking up? If she really wanted sister wives, wouldn't she be acting more like, well, a sister wife? Instead, she seems to resent the idea of splitting time or resources with anyone else. Now, with the whole Dollgate fiasco and the shady land deal Kody and Robyn pulled, it all makes sense. She's not interested in polygamy for the sake of sisterhood. What she really wants is the income from a working woman to help pull them out of their financial mess. As each wife started to leave, Robyn realized they'd be asking for their share of what they'd put into the family, and she wasn't about to let that happen without finding a new source of cash. Honestly, who would want to marry into that family? The only reason Robyn ever seemed invested in making those relationships work was so she could keep the money rolling in and keep piling up more stuff. She could have had it all if she just learned how to share. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.